Hello, Dr. Stringer. My name is Albert Anderson, and I will be doing my final project on Apple's bankruptcy. When we first look at Apple's bankruptcy, which started around 1997, you have to look at the management. Now, Gil Amelio was in management for 12 years, and in those 12 years, they took nothing but losses. So this was one of Apple's major problems, and which led to them on being on the verge of bankruptcy. So the first thing that happened was Gil Amelio was ousted as CEO and Jobs took over. Now, when this takeover happened, one of the greatest, or two of the greatest things for Apple happened. One, Steve Jobs examined all of the projects that were going on and found which ones that he felt could be eliminated. One of these was the Newton. The Newton was a handheld device about the size of a brick that took nearly $100 million out of Apple's funds in just research and making, but they never even put it on the market. So this was an area that they decided that they could axe out and save money. He also did something a lot of people wouldn't do, which is receive help. And he received help from the most unlikely place, which was his competition. In 1997, he forged a deal with Microsoft and Bill Gates that allowed Microsoft to invest $150 million into the dying company of Apple. These are two great lessons that companies on the verge of bankruptcy can learn from, which is one, examine all the projects and investments that you are making and see which ones are really not that profitable or which ones can be cut, and also to know when you need help, and if you do need help, to be willing to receive help from whoever is willing to give it to you. So once they did this, that's when they announced the deal with Microsoft to the world, and from that point on forged a nice bond that allowed them to create a lot of new things. Now, one of the first things he did was reinvention, and by reinvention I mean he reinvented some of the products that already existed. The first product that he reinvented was the iMac. The iMac was your regular desktop computer, but the special additives that he brought to the table was he added color to it. So you could actually customize your iMac and get it in whichever color you like, and it was also transparent. So now anyone who had an iMac could actually see the inner workings of the computer as it was being used, which was a cool feature that other desktops didn't offer. So it lets you stray away from that normal just beige Macintosh that they were known for. So reinvention is one thing that helped them succeed and become successful again. Another thing that helped is expanding with diversification, and by that I mean tapping into other products besides the regular desktop which they were known for. The next thing that they came out with was the Cut Pro, which is just like a laptop, so that could be considered in their normal area. But right after that, they came out with the G4 Cube. The G4 Cube is a great example of diversification and how they try to expand the market of computers with something new that no one had ever seen before. The G4 Cube was actually a cube, and it was the complete computer in a cube with no screen. So it was something different that many people didn't understand, and they did take a loss on this project, but it showed that Jobs and Apple were not afraid to be different and try new things to see what markets they could tap into and what funds that they could actually make from doing things different than other companies. But after that, after the G4 Cube loss, something great came to market, and that was the iPod and iTunes in 2001. This is where they really branched out, and you really started to see the reign of Apple take course. iTunes was created, and it is basically the music hub for all of their devices, and it includes movies, TV shows, games, and applications now. When it first started, it just had music and movies. And around this time, there was also the first known Apple Store which was created. And the Apple Store housed all of their products. So it had all of their desktops, all of their laptops, all of their iPods, and it had different brands such as Sony, cameras that you could link up, and so they could show you how easy it was for these products to be brought together. So the store, the iPod, and the iTunes were really the turning point in Apple's success. And once they opened the store, you actually got to see it grow, because from that point on, they began to diversify within those boundaries. And they added more things, like today, as I was saying, you can get TV shows with iTunes, you can get applications through iTunes, you can get games through iTunes. Now with the iPods, you have several different versions. You have the Shuffle, you have the Touch, you have the regular iPod, you have the iPod Nano. And even with the stores, now the stores offer the iPad, they offer the iPhone, they offer all of the iPods, they offer all of the desktops, and they offer all of the MacBook Pros. So some key lessons and points that Apple taught everyone, including themselves, when you're on the verge of bankruptcy, you need to examine what you're investing your money in to figure out what can be cut. And you also must diversify, or you need to diversify the product and step outside of the boundaries sometimes to find alternative solutions to your problem. Steve Jobs noticed that of the 19 products they had, 15 of them were obsolete and they really weren't that good. So he axed 15 of them, only kept about 3 or 4, and proceeded to make all new products. And of course, some of the products failed, like the G4 Cube, but iTunes, iPod, the Apple Store are 3 of the most successful ones to date. So this just goes to show you that even though companies are on the verge of bankruptcy, or some companies do go bankrupt, that you can still come back and succeed and becomes a successful force within your respective market. Thank you for your time. I will talk to you soon.